all I had in this life, that would be.
I was born in Lebanon, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, March 26, 1949.
You can just talk to me.
Oh.
Unless you want to.
Okay.
That's whatever you want to do. Your earliest memories, you can think of what made you happy.
Well, we used to always, Arnetta came along later. Me, Sheila, and Arnetta, we always played. We had played a lot of games that just played school, made tents and stuff like that. We was always, Mary Jane would come home from school. She was the oldest. Me and Sheila weren't in school. She'd come and tell us scary tales that happened. And we just was always, we went to the movies every Saturday. Mom and Daddy gave us money to go to the movies every Saturday. And then now we realize that was probably when they had their alone time. But we grew up, Mom and Daddy always worked. And on the weekends was always more like family time. We went to church every Sunday. Daddy was very, very religious. We got our dolls, and for Christmas we would get it was three things. We would get our fruit and candy and maybe a big doll and a doll outfit and one more toy. And we just grew up. We didn't realize what we didn't have because it seemed like all our friends and everything was in the same situation that we were in. Daddy always worked 2 or 3 jobs so we could have what we needed.
So you talked about the movies.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite one that you saw around that time?
Back during those days, well, they didn't call it cinema then, it was a show, and you could pay one price and see 2 movies, 1 cartoon, and you didn't have to leave. You could stay all day, go in the daytime, be dark, and stay till dark. But I can't remember, we saw a lot of Doris Day, Natalie Wood, those kind of movies. And as I got older in high school, we still would go, and we was, it was different. Like as far as the black people sat upstairs in the balcony, and the white people sat below us. And then when we went to the concessions, you would see everybody. You say, hey, like that, because you saw everybody at the concession stands, but we couldn't sit at the movies together.
So I know you mentioned granddaddy and your sisters and grandmama. Anybody else from that time period like really stick out?
Yes, we would go down our grandmothers. Mom and them. The Catholic Church in Lebanon would have a 4th of July picnic and they'd have rides and ice cream, and it was more like a carnival. And we always went to that. And when Mom and them we would stay with our grandmama. The mom and them would leave us down there for 2 or 3 weeks, and we stayed because Mama's parents lived there in Lebanon and Daddy's did too. So we would stay with Mama's parents, and then we'd go visit Daddy's parents, and it was just like a different world because they lived on a farm.
Right. And
they had chickens and cows and that kind of stuff. And we enjoyed it. Outhouses.
Now,
we stayed more with Mama's mother and them. They was Mama Lizzie, and we called Daddy Proc. And Daddy's parents was grandmother and Daddy Jim. And Mama had a younger brother that stayed at home. He never married or anything. And his nickname was Cutie, and he would play games with us. He would buy like games, and so when we went to stay, Mary Jane, Sheila, and I would go stay 2 or 3 weeks. 3 other grandchildren would come and stay too from Mama's brothers, so she'd have a house full. And she cooked. Every day was going get stuff out of the garden, and we had fresh meals and blackberry jam and cobblers and just good eating all the time. And then go to town on Saturdays, take that bath on Saturday, and go to town, go to the grocery store and walk around some stores. And they lived a good life. They had a pond, chickens. Sheila loved to run Mary Jane and I with chickens, and course, they had a dog too, and we just sort of, they played, and our uncle would get a lot of June bugs. You know what June bug?
Enlighten me.
Okay, June bug. They they put June bugs on a string, and I don't know what that was about, but it was something that they would just, I don't know, hang out. You know, like when you got ready to go to the toilet outhouse, it was like, I'm going to, somebody would go with you if they had a two-seater.
I couldn't even imagine.
You can't,
Just like a two-seater, like sitting right next to
right next. Yeah. Yes, it was very hard to imagine when you haven't been through it. And at nighttime, you just, I don't know, I guess you just held it in if you had to go. Oh, I had some really good friends started out, and then when I did go to school, a lot of my friends I started out with, like in the first grade, we're still friends today, and we just stayed close. You know, we just stayed close. Actually, you know, I told you I'm in a group called the 49ers, and it's us that was born in 49. And from 50 till now, every 5 years we have a celebration, like a dinner dance to celebrate us.
Oh, that's cool.
Actually, we were the first, when we turned 60, we were the first black people to get the country club for our 60th celebration.
Wow.
And it was a big deal. People couldn't believe it, you know. And a lot of people didn't even want to go. A couple of people didn't want to go because they said they couldn't go out there when they were younger.
Right.
But you know, that to me doesn't make sense. But we had a good time. Debate was started with the first grade and went all through the 12th. Mm-hmm. And I went there from the 1st to the 8th. And then I went to Old Danville High in my freshman year, which is down Center College. And so a lot of them about 7 of us in my class went to Old Danville High. And we had teachers at Bate didn't want us to go, you know. I was told that if I would stay, certain teachers said you could be a majorette, you could be a cheerleader. But I went, and then I basically went because at first I didn't want to go. But Mary Jane wanted to go. Sheila was going to Catholic school, and Mama couldn't divide herself between 3 PTAs. So I went, and I enjoyed it, and I have good friends from there that we are still friends also. And teachers. I had some of my best teachers were at Danville High School too. I mean, I had one incident at Old Danville High, and then it was at a football game, and this guy called me, you know, out of my name, but I took care of it. And then, then at the new school, I was walking from the cafeteria. I'm not sure whether I was a sophomore or junior, and this guy called me the N-word. And so I went to the office and told the principal at the time, well, I've talked to Jerry Boyd. He was, and he wanted to know who it was, and I said, I don't know. But they had a Rolodex with pictures, and so I looked and found him. And he came into the office and he apologized and said somebody dared him to do that. And that was the last incident I ever had. One of my, I hate to say who my favorites are because I had a whole lot.
Well,
And
who are they?
Well, Patty Boyd was my freshman homeroom teacher at Old Danville High. Mm-hmm. And at Bate, I'm gonna start at Danville High. Danville High, Mrs. Boyd. I had a teacher at Old Danville High when I was a freshman, Mrs. Wild. And I know she got sick or something and left, and I just cried. And Miss Kelsey, if she don't see this. Miss Bowman at Bate and Danville High School. And then when in elementary school, I had Miss Amelia Burton was my 3rd grade teacher, and then I had this lady, Miss Livingston. I had her in the 4th, 5th, and 7th grade. So, and you develop true bonds. I remember I had my tonsils taken out in the 3rd grade, and Miss Livingston came to see me and bought me some ice cream. So she's been my favorite ever since. I went to Moorhead for 2 years, took business, and then they had classes where you could take like a 2-year business certificate type thing, and then and I really enjoyed that. I got a job at K-State in the maintenance office. And then my next job was American Greetings. I worked there for a year. But all through high school, I had a job in the summertime.
What did you do?
For 3 or 4 years, I cooked at Pioneer Playhouse.
Okay, yeah, I remember you telling me a little bit.
And that was a really good place to work because we made good money, and then it was fun, and we got to meet all the actors. And then I would done. Somebody called, and it's like when they know you want to work, you get calls. So somebody had me go up to the telegraph office and learn how to do that. So in the summer times, I would work at this store, Ray's Food Market. It was on Wilderness Road, and he had a telegraph machine in the back of the store. And so I would go there on Saturdays and run the telegraph machine. And it was fun. It was interesting, so like my first year that I left Moorhead and I would be at the telegraph machine, I was sending telegrams to everybody. Hey, how y'all doing? But, and then that was one time that as far as if Vietnam was going on. And I remember getting a telegram that somebody had got hurt. And so when I was in the telegraph office thing, if somebody got hurt, they would, instead of calling them, they would send you in a cab to tell them. And so I went to tell this family that their son or whatever had been hurt, and they didn't want to talk to me because I was black. So I just gave them because it was printed out on paper also, so I just handed them the paper and got back in the cab and went back to the store. I started out at Pioneer Playhouse cleaning an actress' apartment, and then cooking was a promotion. And we loved it because it was just fun. I worked at Whirlpool for 29 years. And I've been at the Housing Authority right now since 2008. When I started at Whirlpool, they asked me, did I want a job in the office? And then I had 2 little boys, so I asked what made the most money. And out on the floor made the most money. So I said, that's where I need to be, out on the floor, because I need to make some money.
What was it like being a
single mom?
A single mom at that time.
It wasn't easy, but I always had a good job. And that's why I see how some single mothers, it's not easy, but we always paying a babysitter and, daycare when you get a job, and trying to make a car payment and stuff like that. It wasn't easy, but I don't know, we done it. I done it. But I think my main thing is I had a good job. When I started at Whirlpool, Mark was 6 months old and Chris was 3. And so, I didn't know how to drive. I didn't get my driver's license till I was 24 when I started at Whirlpool. So I say I got my driver's license maybe at 25. So I was, I always had a ride, so I didn't feel like I needed them. I'm not married. I've been dating Herb for a long time, 2008.
I was about to say,
And he's a nice guy, and we get along really good. He actually came over here Friday to bring me some more sanitizer. He keeps bringing me gloves and sanitizer. We met, me, Sheila, and Arnetta, and one of Arnetta's friends. We went to somebody's birthday party at the Capitol Plaza in Frankfurt. And we was just, we bunch of girls, we was just having a good time dancing by ourselves and everything. And Herb kept staring, and so, I think I finally asked him to dance first.
You could give your younger self any advice about relationships, what would it be?
One thing I would do if I was younger, like when I went to Moorhead, I just fell hard for this one guy and wouldn't date other people. I think when you're young, you shouldn't, I don't know, you need to just explore. Well, I have dated outside my race, and I think the first time, somebody shot at us, but anyway.
Oh, whoa.
That was
Let's
But now, that was some guy, actor at Pioneer Playhouse. No. But no, I haven't had any problems with that. And then I've had people outside the race ask me out. I don't see any. I don't have any problem with that, you know, either way.
Okay, so what's your take on the government, like in regards of the needs of Black people?
Well, I think there's, you know, there's things that can be better, you know, and they will be better with maybe after the next election. I really like John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King. And when I was a freshman at Danville High, when Kennedy died, and I was in algebra class, and somebody came and said he had been shot. So then we all went to the auditorium, and when he died, I mean, I cried the whole week. I think it was on a Tuesday, and we was gonna get out that Wednesday for Thanksgiving. But I cried so hard that Mom and them was really worried about me. And then when I was at Moorhead when Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King, when both of them got assassinated, so that was hard. Cause I had been at Moorhead, because I had been registered to vote forever all my life. And I had been asked at Moorhead about they was gonna send some of us to the convention. And I had been on a list that might have got to go for Robert Kennedy, and then he got killed. I actually registered I was 17, gonna be 18, and Edmund Henson was running for, and you know, I worked at the Playhouse, and he was running for mayor, and I registered to vote for him. And I've been registered ever since. Well, I mean, it was just different. I mean, you know, when I come up, it was different. Like we had that one restaurant, the Bun Boy, where we couldn't go inside and sit down and eat, but they had a black man. My friend's daddy was back there cooking. We had to go to the back window to get our hamburgers and stuff. But you know, it was just several things. I can remember when we couldn't try on clothes, and then when they started letting us try on, you know, where we could try on clothes every Saturday. Me and Rosa go up to stores and try on. But I always had a job. She didn't have to work, so I always had a little money to lay stuff away.
What's the greatest hope for yourself, your family, the future, just in general?
Well, I just hope everybody is happy and lives a good long life. And I hope you all, everybody, get what you want out of life. So, and I want to be around to see everybody be happy. Well, I'm just glad that my family is doing good. I'm doing good. House is almost paid for. I brought my credit score up tremendously, and I didn't think I really needed it, because I'm not planning on borrowing any money or anything. But that was a goal I set for myself, and I've done it. So.
What do you think heaven will be like?
Well, I think heaven will be like when you get there, that you just see everybody you know, or they waiting on you. That's what I'm thinking. But that's something we'll never know until we go.
Right.
Well, I just hope that soon the world will be better, because right now it's in a bad place. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think we need God.
Like, if you look back to your high school, college days, and you look at the world now, how does it compare?
It's so different. Because everything was just so carefree, and you didn't worry about, it wasn't any danger of getting hurt if you went somewhere at night, or if you was walking and stuff like that. But now it's scary to me. Once I go in, I lock myself in and turn the alarm and stuff on, and it's just scary. People are crazy anymore. And it wasn't like that in the olden days. I can remember Mary Jane and I, Mom and them would go to bed, and we would slip and walk to the store, and then stay up and get home, get candy bars and things, and then watch movies while they would be in bed sleep.
What are you drinking there?
Oh, this is some Kool-Aid, cherry Kool-Aid. I knew it was supposed to. Well, I guess hey Mark, I think my windows might be cracked.
Wait a minute, do you think you some celebrity? sugar plums and sipping cups, the water guns and double dutch anatomy and breakups, fatherhood and pay cuts. I ain't done it all right.